Wow, what a pleasure for me to be able to share the stage with two incredible campaigns. I mean, the kind of campaigns where I feel like I remember the moment I saw This Girl Can for the first time. I remember the moment I saw the We Are the Superhumans advert for the first time. So, yeah, real pleasure to be here tonight. And a pleasure for me to talk to you about Rainbow Laces. Rainbow Laces, you can see there, is just about going into our 10th year of asking people to lace up and speak up. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the campaign, about the history of it, about where we're at today, and those moments that have been really special that hopefully have been leaving a legacy for LGBTQ plus people in sport. So I got my mate Leah to introduce us a little bit about Rainbow Laces. The reason why I wanted to use this picture actually is that we had to expand from laces into armbands and headbands, mainly because a lot of football players don't have laces in their boots anymore. Thank you, technology. But it was a real huge moment this summer actually, seeing our Lionesses lift that trophy with our rainbow armband on too. But back to Rainbow Laces. So for nearly a decade, we have been driving that positive change for LGBTQ plus inclusion in sports and fitness. More than 1 million people have laced up since 2013. Does anyone own any Rainbow Laces in the room? Oh, fantastic, fantastic. And 12 million participants engage with the campaign every year, which is wild to think about, but we have stadium activations, we have clubs that activate, grassroots that activate, and our brands that drive it as well. 78% of people who see the campaign consider LGBTQ plus people as part of the sporting community, which is wonderful. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those LGBTQ plus people that are part of the sporting community, and it is amazing to be part of a campaign that is driving that change. 66% of people who saw the campaign feel that they have a responsibility to stick up for LGBTQ plus fans. And after seeing the campaign, 45% of sports fans believe that they would want to challenge that anti-LGBT language at sporting events. So that is a really wonderful legacy that I hope that this campaign is beginning to create in the UK and wider over the last 10 years. Together, we are changing the game. So everyone who's bought a pair of those rainbow laces or have laced up or encouraged your sports team to do is really changing the way that we view sport here. There are more LGBTQ plus athletes who feel free to compete openly as their true selves than ever before in every single sport. But for every success story that we see, there are also untold stories of LGBTQ plus people who have to walk away from sports because they no longer feel safe or possible to compete in the areas that they want to compete in. And sport is for all, and everyone, of course, should be welcome. There's some stats here that really show the work that we've still yet to do. The ones that really get me is the fact that I'll use the laser, there we go. A third of LGBTQ plus people who participate in sport are not actually out to anyone in their sporting life. And more than 1 in 5 sport fans still think that anti-LGBTQ plus language is just a bit of banter. So we know that there is still work to do, and that is why our campaign is still going. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the campaign journey. So you'll have seen there that it was amazing for us as an organisation to win Campaign of the Year in 2018 for our 2017 campaign. And we won that award alongside, we didn't win that award alongside. The following year, you'll see that there was an award given to Paddy Power for a similar kind of campaign about LGBT in football and understanding LGBT inclusion. And the origins of Rainbow Laces actually comes from Paddy Power. Do many people know that in the room? No? Okay, fantastic. I really like telling this story. I'm going to play you the original campaign video in a moment, and I will warn you, it is from 2013, so take that with a pinch of 2013 salt. But Paddy Power came up with this idea of really wanting to utilise the networks of the kinds of people that watch live football and live sport and begin to say that you can put on a pair of laces and show that anyone can be part of the world of football. So I will show you the advert now.
I can't change, I look like Lewis Hamilton.
I can't change that my hair is perfecto.
I can't change my height.
I can't change that I look like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I can't change that I'm gorgeous.
But together we can change the game. Players are lacing up to kick homophobia out of football. Use hashtag Rainbow Laces to get involved and show your support.
Cowabunga!
So that's kind of where it came from. And yeah, although that would probably not pass our comms team now, what it did do was bring this message of rainbow laces, of showing your support, of wanting to change the game to a whole new, different audience. Stonewall is, Europe's biggest LGBT human rights organisation. We've been around for 30 years. We have a certain kind of audience that we speak to, and it is not always the same audience that Paddy Power is speaking to. And so being able to do this campaign together was truly a phenomenal moment for us being able to communicate our message of LGBT sport inclusion. They also had a bus at Brighton Pride that year which said, "Get behind our boys." Definitely wouldn't pass the Stonewall comms rules anymore. But what it did bring was a level of cheekiness and fun and banter in a really positive way that allowed us to open up the conversation about how we believe that, yes, putting on a pair of rainbow laces is just one simple action, but it is a statement that you are welcome in this sport and that you are welcome in this game. And what that led to was that a couple of years later, we were able to not only kind of take the campaign as ourselves. I think one of the really interesting points about this is that Paddy Power handed over the campaign to Stonewall and said, "This is yours, you run with it. We are a betting company at the end of the day. This is not what we do." And that allowed us to expand into getting some amazing corporate partners to help drive this campaign as a brand. And they sit under this new brand now of Team Pride. And they support this campaign from being able to add strategic guidance, being able to activate their networks, being able to really utilize their skills and knowledge and experiences of being either sport organizations or sport adjacent organizations to really push forward this message. And it was alongside Team Pride that we actually won the Sports Industry Campaign of the Year award in 2018. And from 2018 to now, the way that Rainbow Laces has changed is that it has gone beyond this kind of silly, goofy, banter, stick on a pair of laces campaign to a campaign that is centred by the Premier League alongside No Room for Racism, a campaign that is driven by Premiership Rugby as well. The European English Cricket Board just activated for Rainbow Laces a couple of weeks ago. Every single sport wants to know how they can really lace up and show their support, or indeed wear an armband, wear a headband, whatever it might be. And I wanted to share this next video because we have this wonderful problem every year where lots of football teams want to do the most impactful, the most exciting, the most authentic piece of content to support Rainbow Laces. And the following video that I'm going to show is not particularly flashy, but I think speaks to how far the conversation has come and is a conversation between a football player and a couple of fans. So I'm going to play it for you.
Mark, thanks for joining us today. I'm Jim, I'm chair of Pride of Irons, our LGBTQI supporters group, and this is Brandy.
I'm a committee member with the Pride of Irons as well.
So first question we've got is, why do you think it's important to show support for our community in the football club?
West Ham has been known, especially now, as a family club, and I think over the especially since I've been here, I think things have changed. You know, the world's changed now, and we've got to show that everyone's included, and that's what I think, especially over the last probably 5 years, I'd say that's really come to the forefront in football, especially. And I think you see the young boy that come out in Australia, I think it was, and that was a massive.
Cavallo,
that
right?
was, I think that was a massive step in. You see the support he got when he did, and hopefully that shows you that that players and obviously supporters, that they feel free to express themselves, and if they are gay, then come out and say it, because that's what we encourage.
I think you can't achieve your full potential until you can be comfortable with yourself. I know certainly myself in my own career, like after I came out, my life just became so different because you feel like you're holding something back. So I hope that lad does go on to show that you can do more.
In general, I think if you hold stuff back, you know, people, especially now with what we've been through in COVID, and you see the mental health that so many people have now, because especially men, they keep stuff in and feel like they've got to be pride and keep their feelings inside. Whereas, as you say, when you came out, it was like a weight off your shoulders and a relief.
Yeah.
And I think the world has changed in such a way now that you're going to see a lot more of it.
You're pretending to be somebody else, and you're putting on a show a lot of the time. Maybe being over the top. And when you lose that and you can just be natural, everything seems
It
easier.
takes effort to be in the closet.
It does.
It takes energy out
It
of you. And I
does.
think you're right. Once you let that go, you can use that energy for something else, whether it's on the football pitch or in the office or like wherever, you know.
And so the reason why I wanted to share that video, and that's just a little clip of it, it's about 7 or 8 minutes long, and it ran on BT Sport and a couple of other places where the Premier League selling their video content, is because Mark Noble represents a generation of footballers that you wouldn't have seen having that conversation 10 years ago or so. And the fact that you have this footballer who is, world-class footballer, everyone knows him, sitting down with the chair of the Pride Network there and a trans woman having this conversation, a really genuine conversation, the kind of conversation that you'd expect to have with your family members or something like that, positive conversations, just shows the way that football is actually changing. And I focus on football because the campaign is still so football focused, but I really believe that the work of Rainbow Laces, and actually, this is the kind of campaign where people just run it themselves. I think usually as a brand, you'd be terrified of people taking your brand and running away with it. And actually, with Rainbow Laces, the more we see it pop up, the better it is. It just shows that I think football is really changing and sport is really changing, and it's a positive to hold on to when sometimes that can feel quite difficult to do. We expanded our laces as well. There are lots of different identities in the LGBTQ+ community. I will not go into what all these different flags stand for, but you can go and Google it on our website. So our community were like, we want laces to represent us. And we're like, okay, cool. My personal opinion is that I think the lesbian laces down here are a really nice colorway, actually. I think the rainbow can be a bit jarring sometimes. Don't tell anyone I said that. But just showing that we can adapt and innovate for the times and for the community and for the needs that are out there as well. And then we transitioned the campaign just before the just before last year. We refreshed our brand to really focus on speaking up as well. So we asked people to have those conversations, a bit like you've seen in that video. So this is what we send out to every single sport partner. So whether you are the Premier League, whether you are the RFU, whether you are a little basketball team in Kiel, whoever you are, when you order your laces, you also get this kind of content as well, where you're able to really sit down and have a conversation and feel like you've got support and tools into doing this, because it can be hard and can be tricky to do, and people are scared of saying the wrong thing and messing up, and so ensuring that people are supported in having that conversation as well. So I'll go back to this slide there, which is what is the point? Now, people ask me this all the time when we get into Rainbow Laces season. What is the point of putting on a pair of laces? You just take them out again. No one really cares about this. Well, the point for me is stories like this. So when Jake Daniels came out, I think it was last year now, it was a huge moment for football, right? Massive moment. Not to mention that, 30 years previous when this had happened, the response from the press and from society even was so different. The response to Jake, and the same with Josh Cavallo earlier that year, was positive, supportive, wanting more of this to happen, wanting more young people to feel like they can be their true selves and come out. And it is testament to the work that I think is being done behind the scenes, in locker rooms, in football clubs up and down the country, to create a space that is more inclusive. So if you want to get involved with our campaign this year, those are all the details that you need to know. So take a snapshot of that if you would like. But the campaign runs the last 2 weekends, the last 2 weeks of October this year. It's usually in November. You will know there is a World Cup happening at that time. So we're doing something a little bit different for the Qatar World Cup. But our Rainbow Laces Day is the 26th of October. So if you'd like to run an event or anything like that, just let me know. And our big message this year is that inclusion has no off-season. It can't, right? We are LGBTQ+ people all year round. We are women all year round. We are people with disabilities all year round, that we need to be included in every space all of the time. There's no off-season for that. So, we're asking people to play their part by holding conversations and events and doing what you can to make sport everyone's game. So that's a little bit about our campaign. And I think that is it from me. So thank you so much for listening to me today.